Bhattacharya, I'll begin with you. First of all, do you think that what we saw in 2025 was a populist attempt at assuaging the masses when it came to a more disposable income? And is the government going to continue that thought, that perspective, or do you think that social causes, civic issues such as pollution and roads and infrastructure is also likely to get a big fillip?
Yeah, on your channel for the last 5, 6 years, I've been continuously saying that the budget has been missing out on anything on pollution. So I really hope that there is some focus on pollution in this particular budget. But overall, if I look at the previous year's budget, it laid the foundation for India's growth. The fact that we could take care of the headwinds because of the geopolitical uncertainties. A lot of the credit happens because there were fiscal reforms that happened in this country, both in terms of direct tax and the subsequent indirect tax reforms that happened. So it's not just a populist measure. It was a measure that was badly needed. It was a measure that was not happening for a long time. The population was expecting it, and it unleashed the spirits to spend, which is critical for this economy. And as you rightly pointed out, the expectation is that there should be more relaxation in the direct tax slabs. But I'm not entirely sure whether that will happen because the government also needs money. And, at the end of the year, what we see for this financial year is that the government has been on the glide path for meeting its fiscal deficits. So that's a good point. And therefore, the government may just continue with its tax policies without too much of a change. But it'll be great if the changes that you just talked about in terms of the slabs being further rationalized in direct tax, in terms of considering what is low-cost housing, in terms of subvention of loans for housing, and so on and so forth. I really hope that that happens because that will further give a very significant fillip to this economy. So we have hopes. The middle class has got a lot of hopes from the government. Also, inflation has really eaten into the income levels of people. So some of these reliefs that we talked about is actually more of rationalization with the fact that inflation has eaten into people's income, and therefore the government aligning the tax structures accordingly will be very, very helpful.
You made some compelling points. Dr. Bhattacharya, we all agree that there is global uncertainty. The stock market is not doing well. Job creation is something that also needs to be understood and underscored by this government, and that is a very volatile area for any government, and it has been for this government as well. What can be done about that?
Every year the budget does allocate money for skill development, which then should lead to job creation. There's also been significant amount of allocation of small loans through Laghu Mudra scheme and other such schemes, wherein the money is handed over to micro entrepreneurs who can then go ahead and set up their own business. But we should also keep in mind the significance of the headwinds that are coming in terms of challenges to jobs. Let's just look at the IT sector. In the last 1 year, the net job additions has been only 17, because large companies have hired, large companies have also fired, and also there has been a significant amount of workforce rationalization. So no more will schemes like the Laghu Mudra scheme will be enough for the kind of change that is coming in. In fact, change will be coming in because of AI, what Dr. Mehta mentioned, and also because of climate change happening. So there'll be job loss due to climate change, and there'll be job loss due to AI. Plus, there'll be job loss due to the geopolitical issues coming up, which will have its ramifications in the geoeconomics. Already, we are seeing the rupee sliding, which means the inflation will be going up. And once inflation starts going up, the domestic products will become uncompetitive. Also, many of the export-oriented industries, especially those looking at US, will find the headwind. And you can't replace one industry with another and say my total exports is the same or has increased, because the underlying structure has changed, which means and the underlying jobs have got changed, and therefore rapid reskilling will be important. And therefore, net net, there are a lot of headwinds in FY20s in calendar year 2026, which is going to impact job loss. And therefore, we do need to look at rapid reskilling, not just at the bottom of the pyramid level. So it's not about reskilling from being able to be a petrol pump worker to being a caterer, but middle level jobs, high end jobs, people who have college education, people who have technical degrees, who are engineers, who are bankers. There'll be job loss at various levels. And therefore, we need to have the infrastructure, either digital or physical or a mix of both, where we can have rapid reskilling of this workforce, which will get impacted as we move forward. And as it is, we were in a situation just like the rest of the world, where it was not a rosy situation in terms of job creation. Much of the job addition or employment in that sense came from self-employment. And therefore, I would like to prefer to use the word employment rather than jobs, because the new world is more about getting economically productive rather than getting into a job which gives a monthly salary. Those
Fair enough.
paradigms have
Fair enough.
changed.
I get your point. In fact, we were also joined by Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator. I'll pick on his